alcoholic addicts.
I really got to say all that again?
His face is as red as his recovering addict.
Character defects.
Hey, everybody.
Good thing we're going
Good thing you didn't hear my terrible joke there at the beginning.
Gosh. Calm down. Calm down. What's up, Sky? Hey, David. Tracy. Carrie. Polly, thanks for the audio there, bud. Dang it. That was a good intro. I said a lot of good, cool stuff, I think.
We'll never know.
I'll just have to recap real quick.
Never heard it.
I'm LT, and I'm a recovering addict alcoholic. And if you are just finding this show, make sure you're subscribed and you hit that like button. Follow us on Facebook. We have a private group there. And what you can expect, this is what I said, y'all. What you can expect is that we are a group dedicated to recovery. We are an awesome community to help each other grow and learn in recovery. And if you're drunk, if you're high, we'll help you get off of the drugs. And then once you're off, we'll help you stay off of the drugs. And I said to look at us as a bridge to a community that will help you flourish and grow in years to come in sobriety, because we recover better together.
That was good. That was pretty close. That was almost right. Spot on what he said.
It's a good thing we're going through character defects, because I just about said some bad words. Oh, that irritated me. So today's Thursday. I've just finished my fourth 10-hour shift in a row at work, getting up at 3:30 and then getting off at 3, and then getting home about 3:30. I'm a little tired. I took a nap.
This guy was trying to read your lips. Can't even see his lips behind the black. You'll never know. Thanks, Alicia. You like this shirt?
Goodness.
Just so everybody knows, I stole it from her and I'd never give it back.
Man, that made me mad. Character defects. I think we're getting to destructive anger here in a minute too. We're on self-pity. If y'all tuned in yesterday, what we did is we are going through character defects. There's 17 prominent ones, and if you saw the show before that, we talked about the importance of good, hard, quality character of a human being.
Everybody's over there tripping like, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, that was retarded. Oh well, move on. We're moving on.
I'm gonna laugh about it the whole time.
And so we want to overcome these defects so that we have constantly amazing character, right? But that's hard to do. It's hard to overcome these character defects. And these character defects have ran our lives. They become our knee-jerk reaction. They become the habit to what we do and the reasons that we wallow in them until we end up using drugs and alcohol to press them away and to numb them out and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we've been going through. We've been going through character defects the last 3 days. What we really do on this channel, well, we educate. That's what we try to do. But what we're doing right now is we are going through the steps we took. We just finished chapter 2 in the steps we took. And we jumped over here to character defects, because once you go through, that's actually 4 through 11. The main focus is character defects and working on those. And I thought it would be a good idea to define character defects so that we all have a good grasp on what they are, so that we can see them in our lives and we see them start to rise up. We can squash them right there, and we can learn tools to help us get through tough times. We learned in our other books called Staying Sober, that recovery is like walking up a down escalator, and as soon as you stop moving upward, that is when relapse occurs. And then once you get to the bottom, that's basically when you start using drugs and alcohol. So we want to learn right up here somewhere when we stop moving forward. What caused us to stop moving forward? And character defects is a huge one of those.
I think they're flying up.
All right, let me go through the chat and say hi to everybody.
We've got tiny little, those tiny flies. What are they called? Fruit flies.
Are you done?
No, because it's going up my nose.
Are you done?
Yes.
So we got Murd in the house. Jacqueline, what's going on? Polly, love you, brother. You know that. Carrie, we got Petey. What's up, Petey? David, welcome, bro. Glad you're here again. I was watching some of your videos. I like that. We're killing that stigma of addiction, of people addicts, because we're real people. We got problems. We just used drugs and took it to the extreme. Sorry you couldn't do that. That's what I'm telling people. There's no sound. I know. So I'm back in the back chat now. Tracy, what's up? Sky, David. I already said hi to you. Bill, what's up, brother? Alicia in the house. Nicole, what's going on? Nicole's in the house.
What's up,
Nicole? We got Sky Love. We got Terry Pack. Right on. We got Merc. Merc the man. We love Merc. Tracy Silversmith. She added a name to her. I wasn't there before, I don't think.
Did you marry John?
Aaron, yes. What's up, Aaron? Glad you're here. Brent Fogg, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Brent is the reason we read the 24-hour day every day. And so this is the direction I'm going to go with this channel from here on out. We are going to read our 24 hours a day. These are the things you can guarantee that's going to happen through the content of our show. We start the show off with a little hello, go through the chat. We're going to go through and read the 24-hour today. Today's April 30th. Around the 8:40 mark, we will, I haven't decided when we're going to do it. Maybe right after we read a 24-hour day. We're actually going to go through, now that we're understanding and learning what character defects are, we're going to take our inventory every day. We're going to go through each one, take 10 minutes, and talk about each one. And I'm going to kind of go through my day. And as I'm going through my day, you kind of go through your day. And we'll see what character defects we had and what we got to do to fight them. And then around 8:40, we'll look at our motivational quote from Cassie. And then we read either daily reflection or just for today, say the serenity prayer, and then we get out. So, and then there's going to be that good chunk of content where we learn from books called and the one we're going through right now is The Steps We Took. And if you don't have that book and you want to support this channel and you want to buy that book, if you click the link in our description and buy anything from those links, we get a couple of cents here and there from that.
Congratulations on Valentine's Day, Tracy. Same to you, John, if you're watching.
What?
They got married on Valentine's Day.
Oh, congratulations. David Miller, what's up? David Miller, he's new here. You're a recovering addict. Well, tell us about yourself, brother. Let's get to know you a little bit. What was your drug of choice, or was it alcohol? If you want to know my story real quick in a nutshell, back in the early 2000s, I was a meth addict tweaker, the kind you don't want around, period. You know, homeless, went to jail with no socks on, committed a second-degree felony, spent a year in jail, a couple years in probation. And then I got out and I was clean for the most part. I was smoking weed every day. And then I got clean in 2008-ish to have a job, because they had drug tests. So from 2008 to about age 33, from my age 28 to about 33, I was clean. I didn't use any drugs. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I was healthiest and most in shape I've ever been in my life. But then at 33, I started casually drinking. And at this time, I didn't realize I was a drug addict. I knew I had a drug problem at one point in my life, but I thought it was a bump in the road. You know, I didn't realize, whoa, addicts are up here. It's in our mind. So I started drinking casually when I was 33. And by the time I hit age 40, I had started drinking a fifth of whiskey every night. I had to check myself into a detox center for 3-4 days. And then I spent 5 months in an intense outpatient program. And then I transitioned out of there in February. And then I've been up here trying to teach myself and then teach everybody what I've been learning, and just trying to connect with the community, break the stigma of addiction and addicts and who we really are as people. Because once we overcome and defeat our addiction, we become some of the most amazing people on the planet. And that's a fact.
Agreed.
And that's every one of you in the chat.
Totally agree, 100%.
What's up, Soupy? Marquez, how you doing, brother? Glad you're here. Without any further ado, it's April 30th, and our AA thought of the day is the AA program is one of faith-based, or the one is one of faith because we find that we must have faith in a power greater than ourselves if we are going to get sober. We are helpless before alcohol, but when we turn our drinking problem over to God and have faith that He can give us the strength we need, then we have the drinking problem licked. Faith in the divine principle in the universe, which we call God, is the essential part of the AA program. And the question is faith strong in me? And my answer would be sometimes yes and sometimes no. So each of us is a child of God. As such, we are full of the promises of spiritual growth. A young person is like the springtime of the year. The full time of the fruit is not yet, but there is promise of blossom. There is a spark of the divine in every one of us. Each has some of God's spirit that can be developed by spiritual exercise. Know that your life is full of glad promise. Such blessings can be yours, such joys, such wonders, as long as you develop in the sunshine of God's love. And the prayer of the day is, I pray that I may develop the divine spark within me. I pray that by so doing, I may fulfill the promise of a more abundant life. Amen.
The divine spark.
What's up, Lynn B?
Divine spark.
Welcome. Glad you are here. Marilyn, what's going on, Marilyn?
Hey, Carmen. Did
David reply?
David reply.
Nope.
I didn't see it.
Nope. Not yet. It's on Facebook, so there's no
character limit.
Yeah, you just type 300 pages if you want, probably. All right, so yesterday we went through impatience, if you guys remember that. And that character asset to that is patience. And procrastination was number 2, which is prompt. The character asset is promptness. Then number 3 is laziness to activity. Number 4 is criticizing to non-judgmental. False pride is to humility. Self-importance to modesty. Self-condemnation to self-evaluation. And then dishonesty to honesty. Insincerity to sincerity. Self-justification to taking responsibility. And then we left off on number 11, self-pity. So that's what we are going to go through. Self-pity. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me.
There's John.
Where's John?
He's going to pop up in like 2 seconds.
Hi, John.
That's cool. You guys are married.
What, is that her husband? John's her husband?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's way cool.
I think so.
Yeah. My StreamYard chat's a little slow. All right, grab your pens, you guys, because here is the definition of self-pity. Distorted thoughts that you are being treated unfairly. And the example that this gives is, I had self-pity when my wife called me from Idaho to tell me that she would not be able to come to the center for Sunday visiting. Instead of dealing with my disappointment, I sat in my room all day, pouting and thinking how miserable my life was. So for those of you that are just joining us, this is a packet I had to do when I was in my intense outpatient program. It's all character defects. There's 17 of them. And what they required is every character defect, I had to give 2 examples of my life and how I displayed this character defect. 2 when I was using, 2 when I was clean and sober, and then 3 in my current moment in my life where I'm in right now. And then you have to give 2 examples of how self-pity or how any of the character defects make your life unmanageable, or how they can make you relapse. So drinking and using, I went for a few months beating myself up for what happened to Link. I felt like it was my fault what happened to him, and I would sob when I was drunk. And I didn't feel like it was my fault, like I kind of stopped it, but I felt like it was my fault, like it was a karma thing for the way that I had been living my alcoholic life. It was kind of dark. one of my self-pity moments when I was in my early 20s when I did this one, real early 20s. I got really drunk in my early 20s, started bawling at my mom's house because I thought she didn't like me because I thought she thought I was just like my dad. And I was out in Arizona. I remember that day.
Dad.
Naomi!
Hey, tell me something.
What do you want to tell him? Get over here by the microphone.
So we asked for water at the next door neighbor's house, and they gave us popsicles.
Nice. That's good. Petey says hello. Mama Kitty says hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Millie's popsicle took me back to my childhood. I got a big old whiff of it. Smells delicious. No. Smells good.
Yeah, it was tough going through this. And you know, that's what we got to do, right, Soupy? Is if we don't work our program, if you go to a program, if you're trying to get clean and sober and you don't approach it, number one, with honesty, and then you put as much energy into your program as you did to your alcohol or your drug addiction, it's not going to be as successful or rewarding as it could be. Or you may fail and go back to the woods and relapse, you know? So putting your heart into it and being completely honest, just like it says in How It Works, those who are honest are the ones who succeed. And so that's why I did mine, you know. And it took a minute, though. It took me a few months of sitting in my IOP before I even accepted or surrendered, I should say, before I surrendered, because the first 2 months I was fighting the addict inside. I was fighting the fact that I'm an alcoholic. I'm still feeling like I was in control, and that's what caused this relapse right here at 47 days. And it wasn't a huge relapse. I just drank 3 shots of whiskey, but still it was my addict talking me into thinking that I am in control of drinking, which I fully proved for the last 4 or 5 years that I was not. So I felt like here's one for self-pity. Then this was when I was clean and sober. So my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I was living with my grandma in a trailer park out here. And then I had to move to Michigan, and I felt because of all that I was destined to be a failure. So I would, oh, poor me all the time. And I didn't try, you know, because of that kind of stuff. And then currently I've put a damper or put whatever you want to call it. I've ruined my reputation a little bit at work because of the choices that I made while I was using. And then at times it's given me the, oh, poor me attitude, you know. What?
You better tell her hi.
Who? Oh, Denise.
We love you.
Sorry.
What are you cooking tonight? We know you're cooking something.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Call me out. That's what I expect from you guys. Call me out on my BS. Y'all, if you were here from the very get-go, you saw me just about have a meltdown. You about saw destructive anger come flying out of this thing. The mouse almost went through the screen, or maybe even the camera.
Or me. Or is it secretly Naomi disguised as Denise? We never know.
So self-pity makes my life unmanageable because of negative thinking and introspection. With my thoughts focused on my negativity, I will leave me unmotivated and depressed, hindering success, which could slip right back to relapse. And self-pity can make me relapse because I could end up drinking just to get rid of the negative, depressed thoughts that I've been giving myself. So self-pity is a character defect that can lead you through a negative dark hole and then straight to a bottle or a shot or a sniff or whatever you do. So we got to work on self-pity. And the definition of self-pity is distorted thoughts that you are being treated unfairly. Distorted thoughts. Number 12. What?
I'm driving.
I know.
I had to steal it.
That was the hardest, to be honest, about my denial of having drinking and drug problem. Yeah, man. And it's not so much I cared what everybody else think. You know, obviously it's hard to admit it to people, but to get yourself to believe it, because you're not fighting yourself as ego. Oh, maybe you are a little bit. But to be honest with yourself is difficult. Hamburger helper. Ooh, I love hamburger helper.
Ooh, and mac and cheese.
Love hamburger helper.
Who's it? Sober James kept saying Alfredo, and me and Link were like, Alfredo. Naomi says, no self-pity. Poor me, poor me.
Yep. You got to shake that stuff off. So how do we defeat these? Maybe we got to go through a lesson. Okay, so now we're learning what they are. You can see how they've played. I hope that you're thinking about how they've played a role in your active addiction and in your life here in the past or during your active addiction or even in your present right now, hindering you from being happy. You know what I mean? They hinder us from being happy and could cause conflict between people we are close to because we're all thinking about ourselves. And that's what's so awesome about service, jumping into AA or just going and helping people anywhere is you see somebody that's sad or hurting and reach out and talk to them. You are done thinking about yourself and you're thinking about somebody else. And it actually makes you feel better to lift some other people up.
I heard of hamburger helper.
He's hungry now. All right. So number 12 is jealousy. This is a tough one. A lot of people don't understand this one when you start really breaking it down. So let me know what you think about jealousy. Give me a definition of what you all in the comments think jealousy is. At the core, what is jealousy? Because can jealousy be a good thing? The Bible says we serve a jealous God, and it's in a good sense because he means it as a protecting sense of jealousy. But then a lot of people think jealousy, it's the psycho boyfriend thinking the girl's cheating or vice versa. Girls are just as guilty, and causing that conflict and constant anxiety and eggshells. And so is it good or bad? What do y'all think jealousy is? Oh, let's see what Dave Miller said. He's 40 days clean today of alcohol. Good job, man.
Good job, Dave.
That's no joke. Did you get a 30-day key tag or a chip? If not, I have a video just for you. So jealousy. Jealousy's definition here says intolerance of any rival for the possession of something or someone you regard as belonging to you.
Ooh.
I own you. You do what I say.
Here's what Sky says.
It starts with comparing yourself to others, and it's similar to self-pity, I think. Close.
There's Murd.
Exactly. That's something I've been working to not go back to what I used to. Earlier today, I was thinking about when I used to drink and smoke in the backyard, but glad I quit that as well. Yeah, me too, Murd. Millie, what did I say?
Go play outside.
No worries, Nicholas.
Hello, Nick.
Shopping. Right on, brother.
Jealousy. Insecurities of your partner.
That leads to the insecure feeling for sure.
Everybody says congrats, Dave.
Yeah, congrats, Dave.
He says thank you. Good job, Dave. Congrats, Dave. Jealousy.
It's a wasted emotion, but it can be real. However, it depends on how you channel it. So this says intolerance of any rival for the possession of something or something you regard as belonging to you. So in a sense with Felice and I, jealousy would be if I felt a rival dude or something and I feel like I own her, she's mine, and I'm going to throw fits, I'm going to get angry, I'm going to try to stop and control jealousy. Here's an example of jealousy from this little packet.
Misty made it.
Misty!
Glad you figured it out.
Right on. Hey, Dave. So since you didn't get a key tag, I make videos like this just for these special occasions. And right now, this one is dedicated to you, brother. There you go. There's your virtual 30-day tag.
Congrats.
It's for you, man. All right. Jealousy. Intolerance of any rival for the possession of something or someone you regard as belonging to you. So here's an example that this packet gives. I became very jealous yesterday when Jack moved away from the table I was eating at and began flirting with Mindy. I had assumed that since we had been flirting that he would not do that with anyone else. I became very critical of him and thinking that I wanted to throw a chair at him. I was bad-mouthing Mindy the rest of the day to the group members. So if you see through that example, that jealousy led to thoughts of destructive anger because she wanted to be violent with a chair. And then it also led to the character defect of criticism where she was talking and bad-mouthing Mindy the rest of the day. So these character defects, once one kicks off and you don't control it, it's a spider web that you get stuck in all of them. They all start poking their head out, and then you start living in all of them. And that's why when we first see these character defects arise, we have to put a stop to them right there. We have to change our thinking. Like I've said before, we can't control that first thought that comes in, but that second thought we can control, and we can use that second thought to combat the first thought. A lot of people I've heard say that our minds have a front door and a back door, and that first thought comes in. Don't sit down and have tea with it. Push it out the back door and use your second thought to push that first negative thought, because that's the habit addict mind we're trying to retrain and renew into positivity.
Hi, Mike. Glad you made it. Bill says that's a big one for him. Nick says envy. That's emotion. I always got him into trouble more than jealousy.
So when I was young, clean and sober, I remember when I was jealous of my friend, my stepbrother, Steve, because my mom gave him more attention than I felt and thinking attention than me one day on our camping trip. I remember that I was like 10 years old or something. While I was drunk, I had thoughts that my wife might be talking to someone else because I was a POS drunk. I would get jealous of my single friends while I was drunk because I wanted to be able to go flirt with girls and do whatever I wanted at the drop of a hat. I had to battle jealousy because I've had a couple girlfriends, and my ex-wife, she cheated on me. What's this one? Is that Joe? Oh, hey. Oh yeah, right here. Oh, and then here's my current one. I feel jealous of normal people who can drink without ruining their lives, but that's probably more envy. See, a lot of people, and me included, will confuse jealousy with envy. And I think when I wrote that one down, they should have paused me in the group and and corrected me. But it would be, I'm envious of normal people who can drink without ruining their lives. I've gotten jealous at work when peers have been promoted and I have not, when I should have, that position was mine, because of everything I've done for the program. And then I put, sometimes I get jealous of guys that are 6'2", skinny with a full head of hair. That's envy again. That is definitely envy.
That's funny.
That's James. That's sober James right there. So jealousy makes my life unmanageable. It could lead me to resentment and anger, and I could end up pushing people away in my life. So that makes my life unmanageable. Jealousy can make me relapse because it would lead me to self-pity, putting me in the basement alone with a bottle of whiskey, pretending to be happy to protect myself from my own emotions. Jealousy can rock your world. And I know that when you get that first kick of jealousy, I don't know if you guys have experienced this or you girls, but you have that first initial hit of jealousy, and it releases those hormones or chemicals in your brain that give you an adrenaline rush. Your heart starts pounding, and immediately your mind starts going into a wild imagination, and your heart's racing, your stomach. You got that feeling in the pit of your stomach, and then if you sit and swim in that, it can just get worse and worse. And if you feed it, it gets worse and worse and worse. and the thoughts, how wild your imagination runs when you're living in jealousy.
Misty says she's bad about getting jealous sometimes.
Yeah.
Sky says, true. Good point on the envy comment.
Yep. The mind can play tricks on you and make you believe that you can easily go back to drinking when you know you can't anymore because responsibility and maturity are a major important. Yeah.
And
James is a good looking dude. So true. That's funny. But yeah, so when that jealousy arises, because I know how strong it can be inside your heart, the way it feels in your chest. What I learned in my IOP is that your brain okay, this is science, bitch. Just like what's his name says from Breaking Bad. Your brain releases chemicals. And it reminds me of pouring water into like a coffee filter. And it takes a minute for that water to drain out. And if we stop feeding it water, that water will eventually drain all the way out. But if we continue to think and produce those chemicals that feed that emotion, that never drains out. But if you let it drain out, you wait 3 to 5 minutes and you take control of your mind and make it think of other things, you can overcome that thought and those emotions. And it gets easier. The first time it's like insanely difficult. The second time it's very, very, very difficult. The third time, but it just kind of starts getting easier and easier and easier until your mind has more control over your emotions than vice versa. And that's the part about self-mastery. This morning, my alarm clock went off at 3:30. And in my mind, regardless of how my body felt, I made myself get up. I said, "Rah!" I yanked myself out of bed. My body was so tired and I felt like crap, only a few hours of sleep. You know how it is. Self-mastery. And then that leads us to envy. Envy is wanting or coveting something or some advantage belonging to somebody else. And here's an example that this gives. Is there any comments I need to before we get into envy?
Start at Misty and work your way down.
I think that's what's going on with Cody's mind. It's even more of an image for him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Flashes. I hate those things. I've had my fair share of being jealous, but in time I've learned to just accept things for what they are, and you have no control. There you go. That's the secret right there, Murd. We are not in control of anybody, and it's not on us. It's not on us. Yeah, I'm envious of them too. Not really. I used to. There's worse things than not being able to have a drink ever, like walking, running, or amen. Perspective.
Yeah.
That's great.
Perspective
Jacqueline.
always helps.
Great points on jealousy. Also envy, because they are different. Yep. Okay, so now we're going to get into envy. And if we're having trouble seeing the difference between the two, let's talk about them for a little bit so that when those emotions in us rise up, we know how to defeat and know which one is which, so that at the end of the day, when we do our character defect inventory, we know how to properly score it. And that's what we're going to start doing on this channel, taking our inventory every night. So here's an example of envy from this pamphlet.
Will you read the definition again?
The definition of envy is wanting or coveting something or some advantage belonging to another. I envy my sister. She has a large house and a responsible husband. They always seem to do well, and last Sunday she told me that she had just bought a new car. I sat around the rest of that night wishing I had her opportunities and got very frustrated with my own life. So you notice that kicked her into self-condemnation and self-pity. So it started off in envy because of what she was looking at. She fed the thoughts of envy, and then it turned around and bitter because it turned into self-pity and self-condemnation. Let me see a couple of mine here that I did while I was drinking. I would get drunk and pissed due to envy of YouTubers because I wanted to be a good YouTuber and make good videos and be a successful photographer, but I was just a stupid drunk in the basement. Currently, oh yeah, so I envy those who are younger than me and have time to choose a good career, can do what they want with their lives while I'm stuck at my job because it pays good enough.
Here's Jack.
Oh, what's up, Jack?
Hi, Jack.
I struggle with jealousy. It's a big block to me working step 9. Hey, man. When it comes to my ex, also not sure how much making amends is down to me being genuinely sorry or selfish making myself feel better. Well, I think, oh man, it's tough. I don't think do it just to do it. You got to want it. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I think you want to change and you want to do it to be a better person.
Yeah.
So if it takes time, maybe, put that one lower on the list until you grow a little more. You can do it from the right heart, not just to make a check mark on a list. Michael Teeter. That's funny. I would watch Peter McKinnon and all of them and just get mad. I'm like, come on. How come they just, I envy my friend who can quit his job and pursue a new career because he's not tied down. I'm 40 trying to get into photography. And I'm strapped to my current job and I can't afford the pay cut. And then I put in big letters, for now.
For now. For meow.
So one of the supervisors out at work, his drinking was getting out of hand for himself. And he was able just to put a stop to it, unlike me. And I was envious that he could do that and I couldn't. Envy makes my life unmanageable by not thinking with my mind full of gratitude. This could lead me to bad decisions to get what I see others have that I don't, instead of being happy with what I've been blessed with. Envy can make me relapse by thinking I could control my drinking like others around me, and I could maybe dare to try again. If I envy somebody enough, maybe I'd try it again just to prove that I might be able to. And that's not a good idea. We know where that leads. Now we're on number 14. Immoral thinking. Vulgar, coarse, crude, indecent, obscene. Have a good day at work, brother.
Bye, Mike.
Thanks for swinging in. Did I read that one already? Oh, yeah. I've had my fair share of ex-girlfriends. I don't think it helps when you go on Facebook and look them up. Past is the past. No reason to inoculate yourself with that stuff. Tool reference.
Is that the fear inoculation?
Yep, fear inoculum. And on that note, let's listen to a good positive quote from Cassie.
Hey, guys. Welcome back. I'm here with your motivational quote here on Recovering Addicts. Are you ready to sacrifice who you are for what you'll become? Eric Thomas. As always, bring it together, guys. Let's continue to spread that love.
Thanks, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
Love your wonderful words of wisdom.
What's going on? Daryl from Baltimore. Welcome to the show. We are going through character defects, and right now we are on immoral thinking. And as soon as somebody hears, if you're like me, immoral thinking, you obviously go to the sexual side of things, which it definitely has to do with that. But immoral thinking could be thinking about stealings, could be thinking about murder, could be thinking about doing the wrong thing. That's immoral. Anything immoral. And it doesn't have to just deal with sexual. The sexual side is definitely there, but immoral is any vulgar, coarse, crude, indecent, obscene, and inappropriate sexual thoughts. What's indecent? To steal somebody's wallet. That's not decent. So late Tuesday, Greg and Nancy, this is an example from the book. Greg and Nancy and I were on the patio talking about different people that we knew. Eventually, the topic turned to sex, and I didn't take long for it to become inappropriate. As we were talking in ways that were intended to turn Nancy on, she got offended and walked away. At the time, I didn't act like it bothered me, but I knew it was wrong.
Hi, Lynn. Glad you're here.
So when I was high on meth, I would nonstop think of ways to lie, cheat, and steal to get more meth, and I didn't care who I hurt. When I'm clean and sober at work, nasty sexual jokes at work, degrading coworkers' moms for a laugh, even though there's little guilt that feels wrong, we continue to talk like this. You know how it is in a maintenance environment and how crude and nasty the talk and jokes can get. And I'm guilty of that as far as immoral thinking goes.
Hi, Courtney Martin. Glad you could make it.
I have a relative who just started working
Thank
on
you.
base with me, and I got involved with gross jokes in front of him, being a bad example. Oh man, this is gonna. When my ex, Zylan's watching. So I have murderous thoughts of my ex.
Way to just put that one, shrink that one down.
Immoral thoughts. But they're just thoughts. It's immoral thinking. It's a character defect, and that drives me into a bad state of mind. After getting negative reviews at work, I wish the worst for people, my supervisor and all that. Given cold shoulders, after things like that, that's negative immoral thinking. So immoral thinking makes my life unmanageable by keeping my mind in a dark world, destructive thought patterns, distorted views. It will not lead to positive, respectful, clean, successful life, and that must change. Immoral thinking can cause me relapse because sexual acts are real fun, drunk, and high. Thinking the way that could cause me to relapse. And then number 15 is destructive anger. Courtney, is that new? Oh, Courtney Martin. Hey guys, happy to be here. You guys rock. I'm so blessed to have Cassie and now this new YouTube family. Yes, welcome, Courtney. Virtual high five. Welcome to the show. We're here every night, 8 o'clock, talking about relapse prevention. And right now we're going through character defects because we are going through a book called The Steps We Took. And we just finished chapter 2. So, step 1, step 2. And now we're defining character defects. We got 3 more. And then we're going to take our inventory. And then tomorrow we're going to pick up on chapter 3. And then Saturday night, we'll probably finish chapter 3. And then Sunday night, we have a special couple guest, another couple who is in recovery. And they're going to come on and we're going to chit chat with them Sunday night. Random question. Who's my favorite philosopher? Ooh, dang it. I like theologians better, but I would have to, oh, man.
Does theologian count?
Does theologian count? I'd have to say Aristotle as far as philosopher goes. And then Jonathan Edwards probably for theologian, if you want to talk theology. He knows he can't limit the alcohol, but he still gets 15-pack each time.
And there's nothing you can do to stop it. The only thing you can do is change your attitude towards it.
Yep.
That's
we
it.
Can control nobody. And that's the character defect of jealousy. Immoral goes against law. Yep. Legal, religion, spiritual. What does IMO mean? I don't know. I work for the Air Force, so I deal with acronyms, and there's millions and trillions of them, and I don't know that one.
I don't know. Like
if it is
lingo.
Acronym. But we're human and perfectly imperfect.
In my
That's true.
opinion. I bet that's what it
Oh,
is.
in my opinion. Boom. We can only try our best. Just try. Yeah. And our recovery is progress, right? Not perfection. So we're looking at these. We're getting our feet wet with them. And in a year from now, after we've practiced taking inventory every day, we're going to be good at them. And then in 2 years, we're going to be even better at them. So yeah, absolutely. We're going to fail. But as long as we fail and catch it right then, that's okay, because we don't want to continue to fail and fall back into a relapse where we start drinking and using again. That is the goal, to not drink and use. That book is great for those who have sponsees. Didn't you?
Hey, Kat.
Was it you that say you just got your book today? Or somebody told me they just got their book today on Facebook.
Did we tell Cassie hi earlier?
Hi, Cassie.
Did you just barely pop in? Were you hiding in the bushes?
Hiding in them digital bushes. For me, I got to say Socrates and Plato. Yeah, those two are awesome as well. Wasn't it Plato that was like, if you want to learn as much as you want to breathe, then I'll teach you. He tried to drown the kid.
Oh.
Or he didn't try to drown him. He proved a point by holding his head underwater and made him fight for his life. Was that Plato?
You need to do that to our kids. I mean,
when you want to learn as much as you want to
trying to
breathe, then I'll teach you. That's awesome. Yep. In my opinion, you're right.
we'll figure it out.
I'm sure philosophers drink heavily back then, and they probably had large amounts of wine in their system or whichever. Yeah. But the alcohol content back then, like when you hear the whole Jesus drank wine thing and alcohol and Paul told Thomas to drink wine for his stomach, and the amount of alcohol that was in that wine was very, very little, just enough to keep it from going bad on the shelf,
Yeah, it's kind of like old grape juice.
Yeah. Improper thoughts lead to improper actions. Absolutely. That's your 5th grade teacher.
You go to Catholic school, you need to watch Dairy Girls.
Oh, yeah.
You'll
you
like
love
it.
Dairy Girls, Polly. Dairy Girls is a Netflix original about some girls in Derry, Ireland. Oh, man. You keep the subtitles on because they got thick accents.
I like to watch it without subtitles to see if I can figure out what they're saying.
What are going on them things?
And like the phrases they use, you're like, what? I don't even know what that means.
What you going on about? Yeah, I love that show. Show's hilarious. All right. This one's for me. Destructive anger.
Oh, Petey's cheating.
Hey. That's awesome, though. Then
Keep
you can
reading.
check me,
Keep
and then you
reading,
can. That's good. That's what I want. I want you all to read with me, study with me, and that way we can back and forth, over the content that we're going through. That's how we grow. That's where the Bible says iron is sharpening iron. That's good. Thank you, Petey. Glad you're reading. All right, destructive anger. Anger is an honest emotion. It's an okay emotion to have. The distorted thought around this emotion is what makes up the defect. Think about hurting things, other people, and yourself. Destructive anger. Here's the example this thing uses. My destructive anger caused a big problem last year's Eve with my girlfriend and I were at a party. This guy started talking to her and I immediately went into a rage. I was yelling and calling her names. I called him on and ended up breaking a coffee table. They asked me to leave the party and I've never been asked back. I later found out that this guy was my girlfriend's cousin.
Sounds about right.
That's funny.
And that's what happens, folks, when you play the tape forward.
Yeah, got to play that tape. When you're drunk, shoot.
Yeah.
What tape?
You just hit rewind.
That is wonderful. You remember your 5th, Bitten Bender. Binder. Moved to Texas. All right, so here's a couple examples that I put down while I was drinking and using.
Jack's from UK. You watch it, Jack?
Funny you mention accents. I'm from the UK. Been going on 24/7 Zoom meetings. Scared to share though because of my accent. Not sure you Americans will understand what I'm saying. Dairy Girls rocks. Yes.
We'd understand you.
Well,
we're pretty good now.
Jack, us here at Recovering Addict on Saturday at 3:00, we have a Zoom. And if you're in our private Facebook group,
I'll put the link in.
join that Zoom. We got Polly. He has an accent too. And we got Simon. He's from Ireland. He's got an accent. I talk like a Utahn. So I think it'd be fun. A bunch of accents in there.
Or through
Paulie's got the cool accent though. He's got that
Discord.
Philly accent. Yeah. Cuz he comes in there and tells all y'alls what to do. From the UK. Isn't James on Dairy Girls? Isn't he in London? He's got that
He's
accent.
from England.
Yeah.
And I hate him.
This show is awesome. All right. So one time I got mad at my sister when I was drunk and I don't even know why, but we ended up at her house and me and her were having a yelling match and at her back door. And this put a little wedge in our relationship for a while. That was my destructive anger, hurting other people. One time Felice and I got in a fight when I was drunk and I was laying in bed and I sat up and I punched a hole in the wall, and this did nothing but add to a list of more stuff I have to fix.
Mainly my heart.
My hand went through that wall really easy. Luckily, I missed the stud. It went right in between the studs. Clean and sober. Well, when I saw Link laying there after the UTV rolled over, I was filled with rage. So I came around the UTV when Link was in that accident. I looked down at him, and I was instantly with the most rage I've ever felt in my life. And I punched that machine that landed on him, and it broke like this knuckle right here. I didn't even realize it for a couple of weeks that I even broke my hand. Now it's, I don't know if you can tell or not.
That's like Igor.
It's like huge knuckle now.
Pump back. Knuckle.
Granted, the circumstances were insane, but still, that was destructive anger. I broke my hand.
What are you talking about?
About 6 years ago, I was installing tint on this window in my black car, and it wouldn't fit right, and I got really pissed off, and I headbutted the top of the door, and I put a big dent in the car. Luckily, it didn't ruin the resale, and the car eventually sold.
Pretty sure I put.
But I had to spend another $80 trying to get that dent out. We put a Band-Aid thing on it, remember?
Yeah, I put a Band-Aid decal on it.
How's everybody today?
Good night, Misty. I'm glad you were here.
Yeah, Misty, thanks for stopping by.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Dave's from Alabama.
Ablama. You got an accent. You're from Alabama. I ain't got no accent. Dave, join our Zoom meeting Saturday. That'd be great to meet you face to face.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know Philly was the most studied accent.
I was watching that, Polly, on how it's studied and how it's changed over the last 40 years too. Pretty crazy. Being sober, and it works when you work it. I understand that meaning. Yes, it works if you work it. Yes, isn't it great to have those epiphanies, those paradigm shifts, those little miracles, those golden nuggets when those cliche statements all of a sudden go, that's not cliche, that's amazing. And the Serenity Prayer has been that for me the last month. It's really just been like, wow, this isn't just some meaningless statement that 90% of America has on their wall in a picture, Emergencies from Cali. I don't think I have an accent. No one. Shopping mall girl accent.
you Valley man. Night, Misty.
Jeeps.
Rez.
What is Rez?
Indian.
What?
Reservation, I'm assuming.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm not with the times. What up, Blink?
What up, Petey?
All right, so that's when I was clean and sober. No, I told you guys about the sheetrock I ripped off the wall. That was destructive anger. I was destructive anger when I got my review at work, and I was very passive aggressive because you can have that violent aggression in your destructive anger, but there's also a passive aggressive too. So if you don't know, write down the term passive aggressive and then and what it has to do with destructive anger, and understand when you're acting passive aggressively. It's an eye opener. It was for me anyway. Oh yeah, when the kids wouldn't clean out the cat's litter box, and the cats were going to the bathroom downstairs and peeing all over the laundry room, I got really mad. I loaded the cats up in the truck, and I was going to go drop them off in the middle of nowhere, but I didn't. So destructive. What?
Mark struggles.
Now
with
the
it.
cat. Now we got one cat that wants in really bad.
They want a joke.
They want a joke. Why don't you tell me about the cats?
You don't get a joke. You get a story about cats. Go for
I don't
it.
care about. I hate those cats.
Yeah, but one of them's trying to get in back in the house, while the other one hates us and is living under the porch.
Good.
The other one just meows all day.
We kicked them out. They just live over on the front porch. Mark struggles greatly with destructive anger. I found that my anger is tied with anxiety over frustrating people and situations I can't control. Yeah. And that's where we're powerless, brother. And understanding our powerlessness helps with that, but I 100% feel you.
Oh, I got a joke.
Jacqueline, you didn't know I vaped? Yeah, that's
Smells
my
of
last
pancakes.
vice. So the story behind me and the reason that I vape. So back in 2008, when I quit everything and I was sober for 5 years, I actually quit. I was a pack-a-day cigarette smoker, and I quit for 10 years. And when he was in his accident, Felice sent a video of him, and it just kind of rocked my world. Like, whoa, man, my son has got brain damage, you know? And I went outside and I smoked a cigarette. I used that excuse to go smoke. Best cigarette I ever had in my life. And I instantly picked it up back to a pack a day, but I couldn't stand the smell. So I switched over to the vape and been vaping ever since. Better get a joke rolling. These guys are looking for jokes.
I got one. You're American when you come out. You're American when you go into the bathroom, and you're American when you come out of the bathroom. But what are you while you're in there? European.
Brother. I found a joke today on my. Where's my phone?
Where'd you put it?
Right here. I downloaded it just for you. But I don't want you to see it.
Aw.
Get her out of here.
Put Megan outside. Go put her in the front yard and get her some water in that giant bowl. She's got loud, clicky dog nails. It's annoying.
Oh, well.
Can't
So
find it.
destructive anger is going to cause destructive anger makes my life unmanageable by ruining relationships, property, and body parts. It does not lead to anything positive, and that's why this character defect is called destructive. That's what I wrote down. Destructive anger can cause me to relapse because I could get an angry thought and then say F it and then go into self-destruct mode and drink it all away. All right, number 16 is resentment, ongoing destructive thoughts and holding grudges. The example here that it gives, it says, I resent my father for 25 years. I thought that he'd favored my brothers over me and that he didn't have time for me. In my anger, I distanced myself from him and never been open to having a relationship with him. Last year, he called me on the phone saying that he had desperately wanted to get closer to me, but due to my resentment, he thought I wasn't interested. He was afraid he would make me angrier by trying to approach me before that day. So resentment can drive wedges in families. It's ongoing destructive thoughts and holding grudges, resentment. Don't they say that resentment is like the number one leading cause of relapse? Because you can start thinking about the past and get all resentful, and that just leads to all kinds of character defects, and then you go down that trail, you are done.
Hi, Aubrey.
Hello.
Hello.
Drop the rock.
Drop the rock ding. I know. I need to. Vaping's so bad for you. That's what I tell myself every time I take a drag of my vape. Me too.
That's what I say every time I drink an energy drink.
I heard vaping vaping or cigarettes can cause cancer.
Cigarettes for sure.
Cigarettes.
So because of the way my grandfather raised his kids and ruined the family, I never got close to him, ignoring his calls and resenting letters which he sent and not reply. I'd get drunk and then talk trash. Clean and sober. I would resent my mom and my sisters and my brother's relationship. Seems that she cares more about them than me. So I distance myself from everybody. Then there's one about my dad that I resent. I resent my peers who were promoted over me at work.
Night, John.
I resent myself for where I am in life, pissed that I have to dig my way out of this crap, and I should be further along. So resentment can make my life unmanageable because it leads to destructive anger instead of repairing relationships. It leaves them wrecked and possibly war. Getting rid of this could be positivity to the whole family. And then resentment can make me relapse, as I could end up blaming someone else for my pain in life and drink. And this is an excuse to feel better. No bueno. Good night, John.
Mark wants you to switch to a pipe. It's more manly.
So true. Negative thinking is to inaccurately think negatively about a situation and a circumstance in your life. It's a sense of hopelessness. And here's the example. 3 months ago, my drinking had been very heavy. When I thought about not drinking, I only thought about how negative and boring my life would be if I quit. I thought that if I could never be social or go dancing if I quit drinking. So I ended up at the liquor store drinking as much as I could. And I could relate with that example. Wow. So there we go. I actually put that down as one of my first ones. The example above was exactly me in July and in August. I could not quit, so I drank gallons of whiskey up to the point I went to the hospital to detox. I felt like I couldn't quit. Because of negative thinking while I was drinking, I thought, screw it, and stopped trying to get the house fixed up and just stayed drunk. Negative thinking, because I thought I was a stupid loser. I didn't deserve to have anything good in life, so I continued to party because that was the only thing I was good at. So I thought.
But here you are making YouTube videos today.
Look at me now. I was thinking negatively about my reputation at work and kept burning leave without the thought in mind, oh, well, I've already ruined it. Why fix it now? But I'm trying to change that now. I still think negatively about the way I look. I need to get in shape because when I was drinking, I got way out of shape, but I'll fix that over the next year or so. So negative thinking makes my life unmanageable. It puts me in a depressed state, not focusing on the positive things in my life. It can almost give me no reason to live. So negative thinking can take you very dark places. Negative thinking could cause me to relapse by thinking there's a way I might just end up giving up and drinking it all away to feel better. And that's 17 character defects. That took 2 shows to get through. And now that we got a good idea of what character defects are, we're going to start taking inventory. We're going to start that tomorrow. We're going to scale it. There's a scale of 1 to 3. We'll go through each one. We'll just take like 10 minutes and do it quickly. But think about our day so that we can continually keep our mind in recovery. Because if we're not staying in recovery, you're going to relapse. As soon as you're either in recovery or you're not. I have plenty of resentment. Yeah, I feel you there, Jacqueline.
We read all those.
We did?
Aubrey's asking about Zoom meetings.
Yes, we have a Zoom meeting. Join our private Facebook group. That's where I post the Zoom meeting link. And on Saturday at 3:00 Mountain Standard Time. And the reason that we chose Saturday at 3 is I put a vote out on this Facebook group, and that's kind of where it narrowed down to. But Saturdays at 3, I have Zoom meeting, and it's really good. And I make it really recovery focused. We go around and I pick everybody and we talk about our emotion, what we're feeling at the moment, and where is our head at? Is it in recovery or is it not? And we help each other. We talk and we share experiences to help, hey, you're going through that. This is how I got through it, or we share positive things that we're going through.
All right, guys, I'm going to flood you with links.
Thank you for the live meeting. It's the only one I attend since isolation. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here. That encouragement encourages us, honestly. Keeps us going. We've done this. This is the number 46th in a row, and I don't plan on quitting for a year.
Even then, we're going to keep going.
Going to keep going. Just Saturday. I have one on Sunday that I'm working on. I was thinking that it's going to be only Patreons because we have a Patreon, but I don't know yet. I'm still... Here's the thing is Patreon, when you start setting it up, it tries to do, to entice people to join, I guess, but where you set up just special things for those special tiers of Patreons. But I want everything I do to be for everybody. And then if somebody supports our Patreon, it's because they want to support our efforts to help anybody that needs it, and I don't want anybody to feel they have to support us, and I want this to be all of God. This is a God thing. If it's going to succeed, it's going to succeed. It's going to fail, it's going to fail. So I don't want to try to just be like, whoa, since it's just you, you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I'm looking at one at 12 o'clock on Sunday, and I was thinking maybe on Sundays we could do have it be more spiritual. We can go through a book of the Bible or something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put a poll out on the private Facebook group and let everybody vote on it, and we'll see. But I don't know. I'm struggling with that Patreon thing.
Polly,
Where is he at?
2 up.
Drugs are like a gang. You're either involved 100% or you're not involved at all. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm just straddling the fence there. Sweet. It should be in there. Okay, so if you look, I don't know how, I'd have to look at the phone, but it's usually in the announcements. You got the group discussion that's always rolling, and then I post things in the announcements. And so you can look in there. It's the same reoccurring Zoom meeting. I'll post it again tomorrow just to make sure, and I'll post it as an announcement, so you'll see it on the page and in the announcements, and just in case you need to navigate through there.
I have another joke.
I put a whole bunch of links right there. You're on Facebook. Hold on.
I have another joke. So the other day we found a telescope in the Addict. Not this Addict, but the Addict up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. We don't know who it belongs to, but we'll be looking into it.
That's funny.
Didn't you say the other day, if I die, you'll still have an addict in the house?
Yep.
So, Kat, you can support us by buying a t-shirt at pjuke.com. The link is in the Facebook chat or through the Patreon, like LT was talking about. Link also in the
Video.
chat.
Petey says, resentment. I resented the person that set me up on sales charge. And since I've been sober, she came into AA meeting, and the only place to set was where, oh man, I really wanted to show. Yeah. But since going to rehab, I've learned that I was responsible for selling it to her. They told me to do the resentment prayer for 2 weeks, but it actually took longer for me to believe it. And now I'm ready to forgive. Awesome. Dude, that's working your program. Yes.
Shout out to Petey.
That's awesome. I had resentment too. When I went to jail for my burglary, and I haven't told this to anybody yet, but it wasn't all me. Imagine that. But I got snitched on, and it got pinned on me. And I knew.
Is that a mosquito?
And I knew I was going to jail, and I knew going to jail as a snitch wasn't a good thing. So I took the whole rap, and I made it look like I did it all by myself, but I didn't. But that resentment followed me. And when I got out of jail, I called him, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he gave me that, and that was the last time I talked to him. I know how you feel, Petey. Courtney, you have a wonderful night too. Sleep good. Work your program. Stay strong. Remember, we recover better together.
Yes, we do.
Sweet. Thank you, Catherine.
Looks like it's time to read.
Let's open up my app called NA, a key tag for NA, just for today.
Aubrey says we have the greatest meeting on the planet.
Oh, thank you. That makes us feel good, honestly. You know, coming on here every night, it gets tiring. I'm not going to lie. But it's totally, if we're providing value and helping people, and when we hear comments like that, it's like a shot of strength. I don't know. It just feels good that you're getting value from what we're doing. I would hate to be up here wasting your guys' time.
Good night, good night, good night.
You really?
Good night, and good night.
Does it really?
That's great. You got the place of forgiveness. Yep. Why do we forgive? Because we were forgiven, right?
Exactly.
Let's go with daily reflection. We haven't read reflection. Okay, so here's my personal opinion. I love AA and I love NA, and I love both meetings. But if I had to choose to go to a meeting, I would go to AA. Will you get off my chair, please? But if I had to choose to read one of these two, I would choose NA because I like the Just for Today's better. I think I like it better than the daily reflections, but I don't hate them. Just a preference.
No offense to ones that like daily reflection.
Exactly. What's that? Meeting makers? It's not meeting makers. Make it crap. I don't get it.
Something like you just said about thank you about we're doing this for them and I don't
Meetings makers make it crap. That's awesome. All right, so a great paradox. Explain your joke, Aubrey. I need to know now.
we missed something somewhere.
I don't get it. What's going on? Okay, so the great paradox.
Night, Carrie.
These legacies of suffering and of recovery are easily passed among alcoholics, one to the other. This is a gift from God, and its bestowal upon others like us is the one aim that today animates AAs all around the globe. That's the 12th step in traditions on page 151. The great paradox of AA is that I know I cannot keep this precious gift of sobriety unless I give it away. My primary purpose is to stay sober. In AA, I have no other goal, and the importance of this is a matter of life and death for me. If I veer from this purpose, I lose. But AA is not only for me, it's for the alcoholic who still suffers. The legions of recovering alcoholics stay sober by sharing with fellow alcoholics. The way to my recovery is to show others in AA that when I share with them, we both grow in the grace of the higher power and both of us are on the road to happy destiny. That's true. That's true.
She says it's one of the cliches from AA.
Yeah, meeting makers make it.
Keep coming
Right?
back.
Yeah.
She said,
here?
keep coming back.
It's all about people in AA gives you a cliche, like keep coming back.
One day at a time. Keep coming back. Blah, 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 blah.
One day at a time. Keep going back. Well, yeah, it's true. But those
haven't heard the blah, blah,
cliches, I haven't heard the blah, blah, blah one yet either.
That's new.
Some of those cliches, man. Like right now, this one day at a time, that's a good one, especially right now with the COVID and the lockdown, the government and the situation we're about to go through. That's all we can do is enjoy one day at a time, because tomorrow we don't know what's going to be on the news. In here in Utah, we keep having earthquakes. And so every day we're just like,
Think about it.
let's just enjoy tonight.
Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's true. Good night, Tracy.
They don't do the fourth one yet?
Vitamins.
Blah, blah, blah. That's going to be ours.
Blah, 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 blah.
So you're gonna have that running across the screen tomorrow.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good shirt.
I love my recovering. Oh,
That's the next shirt.
dang. That's happening. That's happening. I love my recovering addict.
It's going to have a
We
heart.
recover better together. And
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
that's
It's
awesome.
gonna happen.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's genius.
Oh, I need to put it in my
notes.
my ideas. Well, your idea for me.
Yeah, at first I thought they were crazy, but they told me to read page 552. Well, let's read that. And I finally come to where I hold to that. It was holding me back in my recovery. So I've been praying for her for about a month and a half now, but I'm ready to do it. Nice. 552, huh? Is there a paragraph on that 552, or is it the whole page?
Can't remember where I put it.
Oh, it's 452.
It's
552.
somewhere. There it is. It's going right underneath keychains. I love my.
Oh, okay. Right here. I'll read that, Petey. He said, in effect, if you have resentment, you won't be free of it. If you pray for the person or the thing that you resent, you will be free. If you will ask in prayer for everything you want for yourself to be given to them, you will be free. Ask for their health, their prosperity, their happiness, and you will be free. Even when you don't really want it for them and your prayers are only words, you don't mean it, go ahead and do it anyway. Do it every day for 2 weeks and you'll find you have come to mean it. and to want it for them. And you will realize that where you used to feel bitterness and resentment and hatred, you now feel compassionate, understanding, and love. Wow. I'm going to have to circle that one.
Hi, Jerry.
Jerry?
Jerry's watching.
Ooh.
Aubrey wants a shirt that says "Drop the rock or drown."
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a good one. We'll put it on a shirt.
That's a good one.
Full paragraph.
Yeah, that was a good one, Petey. So I'm going to have to read that from now on with page 417. That's a good one for resentment. Pray that for him. I need to pray that for my ex. Because it'll take me more than 2 weeks to mean it. I'll tell you that.
How many exes Daddy got?
Yeah. How many did I got?
I don't know.
All I know is Sandy.
I remember you said a lot.
I guess I got a lot.
For 40 years.
That's true.
And then
Yeah,
your
thank you,
last
Petey. That was good.
X is
All right, y'all ready?
Who are we not?
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. That's another cliche prayer that has been standing out to me the last month or so, because in life we have to put every situation in one or two categories. You can either change it or accept it. And obviously we don't know which one to put it in all the time. So we have to ask God for that wisdom. And that's an awesome thing. Acceptance is the key for all my problems today. Absolutely.
You have all the cliches memorized. Is that another one?
What did Penny say?
Oh.
It's exactly how it was Mark's ex. I didn't mean it, but my heart changed over time. Oh, good. That's very good.
Watch the last episode of Dairy Girls.
Yep.
But season 3's coming out, says in May.
Millie's backstage crying.
Right on, Merd.
Thanks, Bird.
We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. As always, more energy because I get to sleep in tomorrow, thank God. But until then, work your program. Stay strong. Work your program. And remember, we recover better together.